We got some breaking news here inside the channel. The Ravens have waived Ben Cleveland. You talk about tumultuous. You talk about inconsistent. You talk about up and down. Whew, that would best describe all of that. Ben Cleveland's tenure in Baltimore, which began in 2021 as a third-round pick. They used the 94th overall selection on him out of Georgia. 6'6", 355, came in with a tremendous amount of potential. John Harbaugh stood on the table, almost hand-selected this player, and I think it's fair to say that he never even came close to exceeding, reaching, or meeting the expectations that were surrounding him. Ben ultimately will have played in just 58 total games as a Raven, just 3 offensive snaps this season. He was re-signed to a 1-year deal, very team-friendly, minimal 1-year deal this past offseason. I think we were all surprised when that news came down. We all know that it was a really difficult offseason for him as well, whether it was the very public divorce or, more importantly, the DUI that led to a 3-game suspension. He recently served that 3-game suspension for violating the NFL's substance abuse policy. And again, this dates back to February of 2025, where he was arrested for a DUI. So again, started just 7 games over 5 years in Baltimore, and he was set to return from that 3-game suspension. But instead, Ben's career as a Raven, tenure as a Raven, is over. I hope his NFL career, for his sake, isn't over. But that is your breaking news here inside the channel, that Ben Cleveland is no longer a Baltimore Raven. I think a lot of us saw this coming a year ago. And then for depth purposes, the Ravens decided to bring him on. I for one, was stunned, given some of the messaging around him, given some of John Harbaugh's commentary around Ben over the years. Gosh, it all started, really, if you go all the way back to what was either his rookie training camp or his second-year training camp, where he failed to pass the conditioning test. And at times, the optics, the messaging around Ben is just that he had every chance in the world to seize starting opportunities that came his way, and ultimately he fell short of those. So again, Ben Cleveland, a former third-round pick back in 2021 out of Georgia. His time in Baltimore is over. Wish him the best moving forward. Had a chance to catch up with him and meet him on several occasions during my time in Baltimore. And hopefully for his sake, he gets a fresh start elsewhere. But given what he's put on tape, given some of the missteps, let's call it, as a pro over his 5 years, I wonder who's going to take a flyer on him. But that is your breaking news, that Ben Cleveland's time in Baltimore has come to an end. Let's get your thoughts on that. We'll open up the waiting room. Judah, Maurice, and others posted up down here. We are instantly reacting to Ben Cleveland being waived in Baltimore. Judah, something or nothing? I mean, a lot of people are like, okay, like let's get on to the next piece of news here, because this was sort of an afterthought, if you will, just based on how uninvolved he was with the Ravens offense. But where are you on the Ben Cleveland news?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I was never, I do like to talk about positions and how I like to, set up the rosters, but I never really paid attention to linemen too much. I usually trust you guys in the chat to keep me up to date on what linemen should be starting. But I did hear that there was a lot of fans who felt that Ben Cleveland, right, should have been over Falele, if I'm not mistaken. I remember that was the argument, that they felt Falele shouldn't have been a starter over Ben Cleveland. So with that being said, if that is indeed the truth, then I just think this is more coaching malpractice. I think we probably got rid of the better player and we kept the worse player, if indeed that was his, if he was backing up Falele. So
look,
that's kind of
where I'm at, though. Here's where I'm at on the Ben side of things. I think he's given every chance to seize the opportunities that were in front of him. And quite frankly, I think he missed the mark as a pro, what was required as a pro in Baltimore. That's harsh.
Yeah.
But I think that's a harsh, truthful assessment of what went wrong for Ben's time in Baltimore. And I wish the best for him. I hope that he gets another opportunity. The Ravens sure gave him plenty. I know you guys are out there thinking, well, look at the numbers, look at the stats, look at the games played, look at this, look at that. That doesn't tell the whole story, right?
Yeah.
What you do on game day does not tell the whole story. Ultimately, that's how you get paid. Yeah, I get that. That's ultimately how you earn game checks and earn the right to be a pro and whatnot. But there's a lot more than just game day opportunity that goes into the commitment that you make and that you owe, right? The obligation that you have to the organization. And I think Ben, fell short of a lot of those expectations. So again, he was due to come off the 3-game suspension for violating the league's substance abuse policy. We know that it was a very eventful offseason for him a year ago that included a DUI. It included what became public ugly divorce with his ex-wife going through TMZ and you name it. So we can have the argument all we want in terms of Fa'alele and Voorhees and this, that, and the other. If he was a better player, if he gave them the best chance to win, I continue to believe that he would be out there. And there's certain benchmarks that you have to meet as a pro that I think he fell short of in Baltimore. So yes, they re-signed him this past offseason. I was as skeptical, as puzzled, as confused about that as anyone. But look, depth is important in this league. And when you're in a pinch, you're in a pinch. And oftentimes guys that are in your program that serve you a lot better than those that are on the couch and unavailable. So anyway, those are my thoughts on it. You called in for different reasons, I would imagine. So why don't you take me down where you were headed?
Okay, so I was listening to the chat. I was listening to you actually talk to the other callers, right? And I just have a slight disagreement, right? So I think we're all on board with the fact that if Lamar can indeed go, we want Lamar in the game, especially if he's 100%. But the problem with that is he's the only one who actually knows if he's 100%. That's always the caveat. You know what I mean? All we can do is take his word for it, right? But I heard you say something, and it's not just you. I heard a lot of people say something that I disagree with. It's the notion that they will stack the box, which, of course, you would think that's something that the Steelers will want to do. They would want to stack the box. But the solution for that, I heard you said, and a lot of fans said, was that, well, we have to make big plays to discourage that. I disagree. Actually, I think that the way that you discourage teams for loading the box on your star running back is to get the ball out quick, 5 to 6 yards at a time. This discourages them from putting 8 in the box, feeling that to counter your running back, we're going to give up 3 to 5 yards with a quarterback who is intent on getting the ball out. To back up my argument would be, if you look at the sample size with Snoop Huntley against the Packers and the Bears, this is something that teams didn't want to do against Snoop. They didn't want to load the box. This is another reason why Derrick Henry was able to have success, because the teams knew that the 5 or 6 yards they give up would be a first down every other pass. Now, the problem with somebody wanting to go deep against 8 in the box is that if I'm a defensive coordinator, I'll trade you that all day. If you got somebody like Derrick Henry in the background and your answer for me loading the box is going deep 15 to 20 yards to beat it, I'll trade you that all day, because I feel like we'll stop you more often than you can make us pay going 15 to 20 yards down the field. So I say all that to say this. I'm hoping that the notion is that Lamar will pick up where Snoop left off, and we'll take advantage of the short game to discourage the 8 in the box.
Well, I hear all that. He's got to get the ball out of his hands quickly. We all know that. I can't imagine that this back, given the state that he was in 10 days ago, is anywhere near 100%. He's going to be wearing a protective gear that he says he's confident with and has played with, by the way, has a level of familiarity and a comfort level with that, dating back to his rookie year. He later ditched that as he became a pro and became more and more aware of what it was that he needed to best serve him and his game on game day. So that's ultimately a judgment call by him based on comfort, based on feel, based on what he feels he needs to better and most importantly best protect himself. So look, I'm with you. And Pittsburgh's got the dogs. Pittsburgh's got the bodies to have a plan for Derrick. And one thing you're going to get with Lamar, granted, I don't know if you're going to get it to the extent that we typically get it, given his lack of mobility, or perhaps I'm forecasting a little bit because we just don't know what he's going to look like out there. But assuming that his mobility and the extension of plays won't be to his usual standard, that will come with a level of the need for decisiveness, um, and quick progressions and the quick passing game. And I wonder how Pittsburgh will counter. So, Judah,
Yeah.
thanks for the call, brother. Happy New Year to you.
Same to you.
Thanks, man. Robbie Pate inside the channel. What's going on, Robbie? Happy New Year, brother. How you
Hey,
doing?
Happy New Year. I'm back in Baltimore right now, so it's good to be home.
Hell
But
yeah. What part of
yeah.
town?
I'm from the Waverly neighborhood,
Very good. Very
which is
good.
kind of
Back in
cool.
town from Massachusetts, baby.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been here for about a week now. I did a couple gigs with my friends out here, which has been fun. I was playing at Hotel Ulysses last night. It was a blast.
Very cool.
But
Good for
man,
you, man. Welcome back. I would say welcome back, but I'm outside the 410 right now, but I hope you enjoy it.
yeah, definitely, man. Wow, man. The Ravens, they just can't, stay out of drama, man. There's always something with this team. There's
Yes,
always something.
there's plenty of it. There's plenty of it. So what you got on your mind going into this regular season finale?
Man, I'm so excited. And I actually, before you hopped on the stream, I watched the press conference and I can just see Lamar's like so excited. I can see it in this expression of his face. He just seems happy and just ready to go. And that just got me so excited for this game. Like, you know, uh, I think it's going to be a great game, and he shut down all the haters. He shut them all down. He shut them all down. That press conference was so short, but like he was just chopping at the bit. Every question he was ready for all. So I really love seeing that conference.
I spliced it all together. It was only 7 or 8 minutes, and here is
Yeah,
like 90 seconds of the way that Lamar handled a lot of what you guys have been anticipating and clamoring for over the last week since this story that began as a column, right? An opinion based, generalization based column went national to just astronomical different heights of intensity and hyperbole. Here is Lamar earlier this afternoon.
I want to play football, but I felt like my brother he can put a win off for us because I wouldn't be able to do anything. I was really hurt. Like I don't know why I got to get questioned about, or I hear things about. Oh, I don't know if you like. I never quit on my team before, so I never quit anything to be honest with y'all. So I don't know where that noise came from, but like I already know my brother gonna pull it off if I couldn't get it done, So.
Surprised you that, like you just mentioned, the talk that comes up when you do get hurt, how people react. It seems like they're not as quick to believe that you're as hurt as you say you are.
But
Fans
football.
fans do ask, like, does Lamar want to be here? Is he where he wants to be? What
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I don't even know where that come from.
Right.
Probably because, some people think they're just waiting for you to sign a contract and get something done with the team.
But we got to focus on winning right now. So contract talk can be after the season or whatever, But during the season, I'm locked in.
Would you say you have a good relationship with John Harbaugh? That was another thing that was brought up. Would you say you guys have a strong relationship?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know like I said, I don't know where the noise come from, man. I don't know where the noise come from.
Robbie, is that what you were referring to right there? Every single one of those answers?
every single one, every single one. But you know what, Mike Preston, it worked. It worked. It got everybody talking about it. So whether it was true or not, he got everybody talking about this Baltimore Sun article. So everybody talking about it now. So
And that's what I was saying on the vault earlier today. There's only one winner in all of this, and it is the Baltimore Sun and their columnist, Mike Preston, who did what he was supposed to do. He got people, well, supposed to do is one way of putting it, but you know what I mean. At the end of the day, the entire country, football country, is talking about this story. And that ultimately benefits the Sun, and that benefits the columnist. And I think everybody, especially the national media, has to look themselves in the mirror and ask, why? Why were we not more thorough with understanding what this was and is, and ultimately running with it as if it's fact, as if it's gospel? And I think there's a level of blame that should go around all the way up to the national side of things. So, Robbie, Happy New Year to you, brother. It's great to see your face. Great to hear from you.
Happy New Year.
Safe travels back north, my man. Enjoy the rest of your time in Baltimore.
All right. See you, Bobby.
Robbie Pate, Massachusetts finest right there. Appreciate you guys for being with me this evening. Happy New Year to you and yours. Over 1,100 concurrents and counting. It's the first. We got college football on. It'll be on the rest of the night. What's Fernando Mendoza doing right now in this game? I got to do a little bit of multitasking to see what's happening. But anyway, there's plenty going on. And let's get to another super chat from Joe Jenkins, who wrote, Bobby, I think Monken gets too much blame. If we get rid of Harbaugh, what do you think about Monken moving to head coach? Also, good luck, Ben Cleveland. Joe, if John Harbaugh is ultimately, if they part ways with John Harbaugh, it'll be a completely fresh start. There'll be a fresh start, a fresh new head coach, a fresh new staff. And while I got a tremendous amount of respect for Todd Monken, I don't believe that they would promote him as the offensive coordinator right now to head coach. I think they would start fresh, hopefully younger, and go from there so that new person, that new head coach, whoever would be tapped, could bring in the staff that he wants, that he prefers, and ultimately put together his program. That's kind of how things work in that regard. So those are my thoughts there.